Fishing is an important activity in the fishing industry, playing an essential role in providing food for humans. There are many different fishing methods depending on natural conditions, fish species, and scale of exploitation. One of the popular traditional methods is using nets. Fishermen will spread nets in areas with a lot of fish, then pull the nets back to collect the fish. There are many types of nets, such as trawls, gill nets, purse seines. Each type is suitable for different environments and purposes. In addition, there are also forms of fishing with fishing rods or fishing machines, often applied to small-scale fishing or in the tourism and entertainment industries. With offshore fishing vessels, people use modern technology such as radar, GPS, fish finders to help determine the exact location of fish schools, saving time and fuel to ensure high efficiency. Fishermen need knowledge about fishing seasons, migration habits of fish species, as well as weather and current conditions in music and fishing also needs to comply with regulations on protecting aquatic resources, such as not overexploiting, not using toxic chemicals or environmentally destructive means, such as explosives, electric shock. Strictly implementing protection measures will help maintain the sustainable development of the fisheries industry and preserve the marine ecosystem for future generations. In addition to traditional and modern fishing methods, some regions also apply local fishing methods, such as setting traps, using rafts, or using nets. Setting traps is a method of taking advantage of the movement characteristics of fish to lure them into pre-designed traps, usually made of bamboo rafts or iron nets. This method is popular in river delta areas such as the Southwest, where people live closely with rivers and canals. Meanwhile, the method of using rafts, which is creating piles of tree branches underwater for fish to take shelter, is also widely applied. After a while, people will surround the net to catch fish. In addition, there are unique fishing tools, such as rafts, a large net that is dropped into the water and pulled up by a pulley system or human power. These methods often yield small yields, but have the advantage of being environmentally friendly and not damaging the underwater ecosystem. However, due to the impact of climate change and overfishing over the years, natural fish resources are increasingly declining. This poses an urgent need to strictly manage fishing activities, increase inspections, and strictly handle illegal fishing activities. At the same time, combining fishing and aquaculture is also a necessary direction to ensure sustainable development, providing a long-term food source for society while still preserving valuable natural resources. In recent years, to adapt to the situation of declining natural fish resources and increasing market demand, many fishermen have gradually shifted from traditional fishing to a model of exploitation combined with conservation. For example, in some coastal areas, people and authorities have built temporary no-fishing zones where fish are protected during the spawning season to restore their numbers. After that time, they are allowed to fish again. According to regulations, this is a smart way to balance economic benefits and protect the marine ecosystem. In addition, some localities have also developed a type of fishing associated with community tourism. Tourists can experience a day as fishermen with the locals going out to sea to fish, pulling in net, then processing and enjoying fresh seafood together on the boat. This model not only creates additional income for fishermen, but also raises community awareness about protecting marine resources. However, for such models to be replicated, technical capital and policy support from the state is needed, at the same time educating the community, especially the younger generation, about the significance of protecting aquatic resources. Also plays an important role only when each person is aware that the sea is not an unlimited resource. That every reasonable fishing action today is an investment for the future. Will the fishing industry truly develop sustainably and long-term, not only stopping at the technical or policy aspects? Fishing also reflects the culture, customs, and long-standing practices of many coastal and riverine communities in many places. Fishing is not only a livelihood, but also a family tradition passed down from generation to generation. Fishing festivals, sea worship rituals, whale worshipping ceremonies, a proof of the sacred relationship between humans and the sea. These rituals express fishermen's gratitude to nature and their wish for a peaceful and bountiful fishing season. Behind each trip to sea are hardships and dangers that not everyone understands. Fishermen have to face harsh weather, big waves, and even the risk of going missing at sea. Therefore, fishing not only requires skills, but also courage, strong will, and solidarity. Each boat that sets sail carries with it many hopes and aspirations for a more prosperous and fulfilling life for the whole family and the community. In the present era, with the strong development of science and technology and the trend of globalization, the fisheries industry in general and fishing activities in particular need to constantly innovate and improve, to adapt and develop. The combination of modern knowledge with folk experience, economic development and environmental protection, cultural preservation and international integration is the most sustainable way for the fishing industry to continue to exist, develop, and contribute to the country's enrichment. In the future, the fishing industry is expected to transform strongly towards modernization and become more environmentally friendly. The application of high technology, such as artificial intelligence, smart sensors, and big data will help monitor the sea, forecast fish production, and adjust the fishing frequency appropriately to avoid resource depletion. In addition, automatic fishing systems and fishing vessels using clean energy, such as electricity or solar energy, are also being gradually researched and tested in many developed countries. These improvements not only help reduce fuel costs and increase labor efficiency, but also contribute to protecting the marine environment from oil pollution and emissions. In addition, the seafood traceability system from fishing to the table is also being enhanced to ensure product quality and create trust for consumers with major export markets such as the EU, Japan, the United States, etc. The requirements for transparency of origin and legal exploitation are increasingly strict. This is a key factor helping Vietnamese seafood in particular, and the world in general, maintain its position in the international market. Thus, fishing is not only a traditional economic sector, but also a strategic sector, requiring close coordination between fishermen, the state scientists, and consumers when all social components work towards a common goal that is reasonable exploitation, protection of nature, and preservation of marine culture. Then the fishing industry will certainly continue to develop prosperously, meeting both current needs and sustainable for the future. To achieve sustainable development in the fishing sector, the human factor always plays a key role. Raising awareness among the fishing community, especially the younger generations, about the importance of protecting aquatic resources needs to be given more attention. Modern fisheries training programs combining theory and practice need to be expanded to equip workers with knowledge of effective, safe, and environmentally friendly fishing techniques. In addition, it is necessary to strengthen propaganda campaigns to encourage people to abandon destructive fishing methods, such as using electric shock, explosives, and toxic substances, practices that seriously damage the underwater ecosystem. The state also needs to have practical support policies for fishermen, such as preferential loans for building new boats, providing modern equipment or marine risk insurance so that they can confidently stick to the sea. Protect sovereignty and develop the economy. At the same time, it is necessary to promote international cooperation in managing sea areas, combating illegal fishing, and sharing experiences in managing aquatic resources in the context of increasingly complex climate change. Responding to and adapting to these changes is also becoming urgent. Building seasonal fishing ground maps and forecasting fish production based on fluctuations in seawater temperature, currents, etc., will help fishermen be more proactive in their fishing activities. All of these factors will contribute to creating a modern, civilized, and responsible fishing industry, not only for human life today, but also for the future of the ocean and the entire marine ecosystem. Finally, it can be affirmed that fishing is not simply a livelihood, but also an important part of the marine economic value chain and the cultural symbol of many riverine and coastal communities. Fishing is associated with generations of hardworking, diligent workers with ships sailing out to sea in. With bustling fish markets at dawn and with stories passed down from generation to generation about the vast ocean in the midst of modern life, the fishing industry is facing many opportunities, but also many challenges to preserve and promote the value of fishing in the future. Each individual and organization involved needs to act responsibly, from choosing appropriate fishing methods, protecting the marine environment, to complying with legal regulations on fishing. A sustainable fishing industry is one that respects nature, harmoniously combining immediate and long-term benefits at that time. The sea is not only a source of life, but also a valuable heritage that we have the responsibility to preserve for future generations with such great importance. The conservation and development of the fishing industry should be considered a long-term national strategy, especially for countries with long coastlines and rich marine resources. Like Vietnam, the government and social organizations need to coordinate closely in replanting fishing grounds. reasonably zoning exploitation areas and investing in fishing infrastructure, such as fishing ports, seafood wholesale markets, and post-harvest processing and preservation areas. Along with that, the application of science and technology and monitoring output, combating illegal fishing, and making the supply chain transparent will help the fishing industry move closer to international standards, thereby expanding export markets and increasing economic value in the long term. We need to gradually transform the traditional fishing model into a circular marine economy model, where fishing, farming, processing, tourism, and education are closely linked in a sustainable system. Here, waste is reused, resources are regenerated, and communities benefit equitably. A modern, green, and smart fishery is not just a distant dream, but can completely become a reality if we start taking action today from the smallest things, such as not fishing illegally, not dumping waste into the sea, and not consuming products of unclear origin. Because the sea not only feeds us with fish and shrimp, but also teaches us lessons about balance, gratitude, and responsibility between humans and nature. And when people truly understand and appreciate the role of the sea in life, the fishing journey is no longer just a difficult life in the stormy waves, but becomes part of a great mission that is to protect the green life of the planet. The sea not only provides food, jobs, and resources, but also connects the cultural, historical, and spiritual values of many generations. Fishermen are not only sea workers, but also border guards, protect territorial waters, and pass on vivid memories of a civilization closely connected to the ocean. Therefore, when each net is pulled up, it is not only shrimp and fish, but also faith, hope, and the result of a system that is striving to preserve the ocean forever. In the future, with the cooperation of the whole society, the fishing industry will constantly innovate, become more civilized and modern, and develop in harmony with nature. This is not only a step forward for the marine economy, but also a humane commitment to future generations that the sea still has fish, is still green, and still has life as an indispensable part of human life. Therefore, the responsibility to preserve and develop the fishing industry does not only belong to fishermen, but is a common duty of the whole society. Every individual, whether living in coastal areas, deltas, or cities, can contribute to protecting the ocean through practical actions such as reducing the use of disposable plastics, supporting seafood products with clear origins, or participating in ocean cleaning campaigns. Schools should also include education about islands and protecting the marine environment in their curriculum, helping the younger generation form a love and sense of responsibility for the ocean right from when they are still in school. On the part of businesses, it is necessary to develop sustainable and transparent seafood production and business models that respect the environment and the rights of workers. The relationship between exploitation, consumption, and conservation must be established in a closed circle where economic benefits do not go against ecological benefits. Thus, fishing is not only a simple production activity, but also a manifestation of a great system of values, the harmony between humans and nature, between development and preservation. When these values are widely spread, the fisheries industry in particular, and the ocean in general, will continue to be a source of life, a source of pride, and a sustainable driving force for a prosperous future. Moreover, When we think about the future of the fishing industry, we cannot help but mention the combination of conservation and sustainable development. It is in this intersection that the fisheries industry can develop without harming marine resources. We need reasonable exploitation strategies using advanced technologies to monitor and regulate fishing activities to ensure that marine resources are used optimally, without waste and without harming the habitat of aquatic species in. Marine protected areas also need to be expanded, not only to protect rare fish species, but also to maintain biodiversity, allowing marine life to thrive and develop in the natural environment. We also need to encourage the development of responsible fishing models, where those involved will not only focus on short-term benefits, but also care about the long-term benefits of the marine ecosystem. A solid foundation will be clear and transparent marine management policies, creating a stable legal environment, while encouraging the participation of communities and businesses in marine protection. In particular, the application of modern technological measures in monitoring and managing fishing grounds will help fishermen to fish effectively without depleting resources. In addition, enhancing the role of international organizations in cooperation in marine protection is also very important. These organizations not only play a role in establishing international regulations, but also support countries in implementing measures to protect marine resources and fishing grounds in. I help control illegal fishing and protect endangered marine species with continuous efforts in maintaining and developing fisheries in a sustainable manner. We not only help the fisheries industry develop, but also protect one of the most valuable resources of the earth, the ocean. The sea not only provides seafood, but also nurtures cultural and spiritual values, contributing to enriching human life. Therefore, each of us, whether fishermen or consumers, has the responsibility to join hands to protect the ocean so that the sea is always blue and abundant, bringing a full and prosperous life to everyone. Along with protecting and sustainably developing the fishing industry, we must also focus on building a strong marine education and research system. Universities and research institutes need to focus on training high-quality human resources, equipping future generations with the knowledge and skills needed to approach and solve problems related to marine resources and the marine environment. At the same time, research program